real quick. Oh, I feel like I've seen this. This is like Zelda. What the fuck? Yo! Dr. Jones is a story-driven game. Yo, what the heck? Cola. Cola? Something wrong with my controller? I can't tell. Americola? Oh, me and I. I think it's just not the best controller. Okay, who's the chief? I see. What the heck? Island Yo-Yo. Cool. How do I save the game? I don't know if this is considered an RPG. We'll have to play to figure that out. Who did I not talk to? That's kind of fucked up, man. Apparently I just talked to someone. Talked to everyone, rather. Okay. That's how we save the game. Zelda. Dude, that's wild. I just don't like how this game handles. Okay. What was the deal with that? Why couldn't I... I mean, we just have to, like... find out how to open all the doors. Seems like it's the only objective, really. Damn, dude. Getting destroyed. Can't move out of the way like it's Zelda. What? There's nothing in here unless... Hold up. I have to step on everything, I guess. What? What? The fuck? MSX. Water. Oh, what am I thinking right now? Now you've done it. Yo! Guys, we got points. Oh my god, it's Rob. What? It's a heart. The game memorizes it for me. So I need to remember it. How do I get that? Look at that big harp. Oh fuck, I'm stuck in here now. What the hell do I do in here? Oh. I noticed that shit. What? Oh. What? Why can't I get it? What? I have to do that first? Come on, dude. I don't have a projectile. Dude. I don't have a frickin' projectile. How do I use that? Maybe it heals me if I die automatically? I just have to guess. I can't go back. Why? Where am I supposed to go then? Oh, hold it. I don't know. There's like no reward for killing enemies like Zelda. You don't get hearts. You don't get rupees. You get nothing for killing these guys. Is there any point? I don't get how I'm supposed to go back. I find that weird. The fuck do I do? Find that bizarre. Overall, this game want me to die? You know, I can only speculate like that. I don't know what it wants me to do. The fuck? Seriously. Dude. The fuck? I don't get it. What was I supposed to do? Yeah, I wonder where IGN put this on there. Who developed this game? I know it's Nintendo R&D 3 Locomotive Corporation. Who the flip is that exactly? Oh, shit. They did Virtual Boy stuff. Well, two very bad Virtual Boy games. Come on, man. I have lens wipes. I don't know where you find those in the world. I could order them. That's true. 400 wipes. Yeah, I'll buy them. Shit's out of control that I just don't have them. But then when I have them, I use them obsessively. Anyway. Alright. Again, top 100 NES. See what they say. I just need to know the consensus. IGN represents the consensus, you know. You know, I just think IGN did Ninja Gaiden so dirty. All of the Ninja Gaidens. StarTropics 35. I can think of a few reasons why that's crazy. Certainly not gonna be anywhere close to 35 on mine. I mean, what? Boom, 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 boom. Not fair, I did it itch. What is that? Star? I don't know what that is. Maybe if you get 10 stars, you get an extra life. Can only speculate because I don't know what that is, man. What the deal is. How do you use the snowman? Like what? I did 1.5 hearts. Dude, what the fuck do I do to use the snowman? What? Do I need to look up the controls of this game? I might have to. Anyway. StarTropics controls. I don't think StarTropics is an RPG. Yeah. StarTropics letter dipped in water? What the heck? Tug. Alright, let's see. Pauses game up, down to switch between main and magic items. What? No, I didn't freaking expect that. Actually painful. Dude, I couldn't move up. I had to jump up, I forgot. That was Zelda moment. Actually, no, because you can kill them in multiple ways. I was gonna say once you have this weakness, but no, you don't need to do that. Sure, save me some time though. I need some socks. Super cold. So cold. Coconut milk. What do stars do in this game? Like, will I ever find that out? Did F-Zero 99 cost money or was that free? I think it was free, right? I don't know. That's kind of rough. That's kind of rough. I'll be honest. I'm gonna blame the controller for that one, but I don't know. Controls in this aren't the best either, so you know. I guess I didn't want to use my projectile. I should have. Dude, get away from me, man. Fuck, I'm already dead. Fuck, man. How's that gonna avoid damage? Like jumping? What the fuck was I thinking? Hold up. I forgot that I already figured this out. I wonder what this guy even looks like. Mr. StarTropics? What does he look like in the concept art? Guy with blue shirts. That's all there is to him. That's all there is to him. I should have probably ended it because I'm at no health, but that's not fun. Wow, because I jumped? Dude, what? Oh, you can jump across the water. What the fuck? StarTropics. He's made a video on every fucking game ever.
When it comes to top-down adventure games, most of us are used to sword and sorcery fantasy type stuff. But in StarTropics, you play as Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones, who's visiting his uncle Steve, a famous archaeologist. Only he's gone missing because he's been kidnapped by aliens, so we gotta find him by going through mazes, defeating monsters, and finding out information from talking animals. Oh, and you're a quote-unquote ace pitcher, so naturally you're given a yo-yo to fight enemies with. What? So yeah, StarTropics is a bit more science fiction than fantasy. However, while the story is unique for the 8-bit adventure genre, everything else is pretty much what you'd expect. There's the familiar overworld view and the dungeon or town view, there's puzzles, there's dungeons, there's the usual array of enemies, there's the heart meter, there's the heart containers to increase your heart meter, there's special items, you get the idea. It's all borrowing elements from Dragon Warrior and of course from Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2 to a certain extent. I mean, the file select screen here is exactly the same as Legend of Zelda, which is odd. StarTropics does have one notable unique puzzle, however, where the game instructs you to take a flyer that came packaged with the game and soak it in water to reveal a code. Now that's cool. However, I can't imagine how mad I'd be if I rented this game and got that far and wasn't able to do that. But yeah, while this game looks very similar to games like Legend of Zelda, it's much more linear, point A to point B. Anyway, the action here is top-down adventure style stuff where you can move in 4 directions. Unlike Legend of Zelda, you can jump, however, so that's nice. One odd aspect is that you have to turn to face the direction you want to move before you actually move. That's kind of annoying at first, but you get used to it. The structure here is similar to later games like Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia, where you either beat all the enemies to progress, or you have to solve a puzzle. That brings me to one flaw in StarTropics. This game is pretty hard. Once you get to about level 5 or so, it picks up big time, and the last couple levels, woof. The game does autosave, however, so if you die, you just go back to the beginning of the dungeon, so that's useful. No Zelda 2 type crap here. Another aspect of StarTropics that people may not like is that this is one of those games where you have to talk to everyone to progress. Every single NPC, even if they have absolutely nothing to say. But on the off chance you miss someone, you'll be stuck. This doesn't bother me that much because I'm one of those detail freaks. When I play games like this, I have to go everywhere and talk to everyone anyway, but I can see why this would be annoying. Despite those 2 flaws though, StarTropics is a very good game, and one of my favorite things about it is the music. You spend a lot of time in dungeons fighting monsters in this game, and it would have been the game's death knell had the music been annoying. Thankfully though, it's refreshingly cheerful. It's one of those soundtracks where you hear just a little bit and you immediately know it's StarTropics. Nothing else on the NES sounds quite like this game. Anyway, yeah, StarTropics is worth playing today, and no, it's not just tropical Zelda. Yes, it's a lot more linear, yes, it's really hard, and yes, it's easy to get stuck in the story if you forget to talk to someone. But the game looks and sounds great, and the story especially is something different. It's pretty funny at times, if it's not really effing weird. StarTropics did get a sequel, StarTropics 2 Zoda's Revenge, but I have not played that one. But yeah, if you haven't played the first StarTropics, get the bananas out of your ears and go check it out. It's on the Wii Virtual Console.
I had to know the consensus for this game. What? I'm gonna Twitch clip so I can see the room layout, but maybe I just have to kill the last bat. Is there something this way? I don't know, am I out of the dungeon now? I don't think so, man. Did I just waste time? Unless I can actually go back in. I have a feeling. I can't. I just wasted time by going up the stairs. What the fuck? What? Alright. I have the Twitch clip. No, I don't. Yeah, yes, I do. Okay. Jeez. One, two. Oh shit. Don't ask why the fuck I did that, dude. I don't know. That sucks. Oh. Thank you for acknowledging my accomplishment. Got a shit ton of points, didn't I? I'm just hanging out. Just hanging out. Hold up. Is there a different way I can exit? Did I get trolled? Bum ba dum. Is there no other way to exit? Have to talk to him again? I don't know. Hold up. There we go. How long have I been playing this? Da da bum ba dum ba bum. An hour and a half. I guess you can ignore these guys, right? I don't know. Clearly didn't go very well for me. I don't really like that I'm just fighting the same enemies over and over. Fuck, man. You just got freaking destroyed, like, damn, dude. You just got destroyed. I see now. What? I just didn't remember, dude. Fuck, man. I just think it's a struggle to move in this game. God damn it. The game's definitely harder than I thought it would be. This is not something I can lie about. I think it's definitely harder than I thought it would be. For sure, man. It's painful. Just a matter of patience with these guys. Fuck. This is fucking trial and error. How are you supposed to know, you know, which spot is, I forgot what I was saying, I got distracted. Why couldn't I move? What do I do? I think I need healing, man. Where do I get healed here? Anyone? I think this is it. What have I done? I'm so stupid. I cannot be tanking hits. It's important to not do that. Trying to understand what is this? What do I jump across exactly? I don't know, man. I just don't know, man. Probably doesn't get easier after this. Not at all. What are you fucking trolling, man? The fuck you supposed to do about that? There's no lights. Audio after every game over. How about that? Bum ba bum. Can't believe they fucking robbed me of my asteroids world record. You know, next time I get 20 minutes. Play some fucking asteroids, perhaps. I didn't know they could fucking do that. What the fuck? What? I failed to jump over. It's over. What can you say at that point? Other than it's over. Wait, I need healing. What was I thinking? I'm stuck in here, huh? highest one healing. Boom, boom, boom. I wish the lava was moving. +1. What? Dude, jump forward, you fucking idiot. I got an extra life is what happened here. gosh, dude, what the fuck? Yes, that is very fair. Fuck you. Yeah, we start here. I think that's pretty rough that we start here. Fuck, man. The story of StarTropics, gaming historian. I'll give it a listen. I'll give it a listen. But first, I want to know: did Mike Matei play this game? You know? No, they don't even acknowledge the. They don't even acknowledge the game exists. That's wild.
Right, today we're gonna be playing StarTropics. Yeah, but then I'm using some Google thing. How about instead of that, Google can take their time and they can make it so that they can figure out a way that you can say fuck and shit without having your videos.
Here we go.
Gave birth to quite. The Nintendo Entertainment System gave birth to quite a few Nintendo franchises. The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros., Metroid. The system is a haven for classic Nintendo games.
But there's one series in particular that tends to fly under the radar. It's a series that both began and ended on the Nintendo Entertainment System. A series that, while developed in Japan, was only ever released in North America and eventually Europe. And that series is StarTropics. StarTropics is one of those games that you see fairly often, but you don't really know much about. I guess the cover doesn't really help, it's just a picture of some random tropical island. But waiting inside, you see fairly often, but you don't really know much about. I guess the cover doesn't really help, it's just a picture of some random tropical island. But waiting inside this cartridge is a really fun, unique adventure. And the story behind this adventure is actually quite interesting. So, let's take a look.
StarTropics was developed by R&D3, one of the smaller and less well-known research and development teams at Nintendo. The group primarily worked on hardware, but they occasionally developed games as well, most notably the Punch-Out series. The idea for StarTropics came from the team's general manager, Genyo Takeda, who had a strong appreciation for the Western market. Most Nintendo games were made for the Japanese market, and then later localized for North America. Takeda wanted to see that change. The Western video game scene was getting bigger and bigger, and games needed to be made for that market to help it grow. And so began Takeda's quest to create StarTropics, a game developed specifically for North America. Upon initial boot up, StarTropics might look somewhat familiar. Save slots, heart meters, top-down perspective. It kinda reminds you of another Nintendo franchise, The Legend of Zelda. And there's a reason for that. The Legend of Zelda had a big influence on Takeda. However, instead of using a fantasy theme that was popular among Japanese gamers, StarTropics uses a modern, realistic setting. You play as 15-year-old Mike Jones, a star baseball pitcher from Seattle, Washington. One day, Mike receives an invitation to visit Sea Island from his Uncle Steve, who is looking for some lost ruins. However, upon arrival, you find out that your uncle has gone missing, and it's up to you to rescue him. Trying to find the whereabouts of your Uncle Steve is actually a refreshing story compared to the many Save the Princess type games, and near the end of the game, there are several twists and turns. Rather than battle enemies with a sword and shield, Mike Jones employs a variety of everyday items: a yo-yo, baseball bat, slingshot, spiked cleats, and more. The game is also filled with pop culture and historical references to the United States. For starters, the main character's name is Mike Jones, a combination of two extremely common names in the United States. He also happens to love baseball, America's pastime. His uncle is an archaeologist named Steve Jones, but according to the game, everyone just calls him Dr. Jones. I'm sure you see the reference here. Every single village in the game ends in the word cola, an obvious reference to one of America's favorite beverages. During your journey, your uncle leaves clues to his location, one of them being to use the code 1776 in your submarine, which happens to be the year the American colonies declared independence from Great Britain. StarTropics utilizes an overworld along with dungeons to progress through the game, and is broken up into chapters. In the overworld, you'll travel through islands and villages trying to gather more information on your Uncle Steve's location. It's fairly linear, but there are a few hidden areas and secrets to find. The dungeons are where the main gameplay takes place. StarTropics uses a top-down perspective and grid-based movement. At first, it may seem somewhat awkward. Hitting a direction once on the NES D-pad doesn't mean you start moving in that direction, but rather, you face that direction. Only after you hit the direction again do you start moving. Again, it's awkward at first, but you'll get used to it quickly, and soon find that it's essential to the combat. The dungeons are designed specifically around this movement. Each dungeon is filled with secret switches, rooms, traps, and of course, a boss at the end. As you progress through the game, each dungeon gets progressively more difficult. Luckily, the game employs a save system that saves your game before and after each dungeon area, which is very convenient. As I mentioned earlier, you'll be fighting off enemies with some unique items. Your main weapon is a yo-yo, strangely enough, but there are some other weapons you can pick up along the way, such as baseball bats and even shurikens. There are also magical items as well, so the game isn't completely devoid of fantasy. For example, this snowman doll freezes all the enemies on screen. But StarTropics isn't a perfect game. Many of the villages and dungeons feel the same, and while the music is very well done and extremely catchy, it repeats itself a lot. The plot is unique, but the writing is very basic, and the world could be more fleshed out. The grid-based combat feels limited, stiff, and slow at times. There are also some traps and dungeons that seem unfair, and you'll only discover them through trial and error. But overall, the word charm best describes StarTropics. It's such a fun, unique experience on the Nintendo Entertainment System. There are great Nintendo references too, such as the Octorok enemies from Legend of Zelda, or your ship's navigator Navcom, who bears a striking resemblance to Rob the Robot.
But let's not forget one of the most unique things about StarTropics, its packaging. Specifically, something that came with the game. Remember that letter that Uncle Steve wrote to Mike inviting him out to Sea Island? Well, the game comes with a copy of that letter, and it contains a secret to getting through the game.
Dude,
at one point in the game, Uncle
forward.
Steve leaves a message for Mike saying, "Tell Mike to dip my letter in water." Well, this is that letter, and I'm about to show you what happens next.
Dude, just fucking jump forward. What? What the fuck was that? Are you kidding me, dude? Shit, man. Like, why couldn't the man simply... Oh, that's not what I'm supposed to do, is it?
After you dip the letter in water, a secret message appears, with the words "frequency is 747 megahertz." You must input this frequency into your navigation system to continue the game. Some speculate this was an anti-piracy, anti-rental measure implemented by Nintendo. I mean, without this code, there's no way to continue through the game. I don't know if this is actually true, but regardless, this is really cool, and an innovative way to use a game's packaging.
StarTropics has all the elements of a new Nintendo franchise, and Nintendo thought so too. It was the featured game in Volume 21 of Nintendo Power, and was given a large walkthrough over 2 issues. Released on December 1st, 1990 in North America, the game was a moderate success. The game was released 2 years later in Europe. But even before StarTropics was available at retail stores, Takeda was planning a sequel, one that would be bigger and better than the first. To expand his new universe, Takeda added 2 additional screenwriters from Nintendo of America, George Sinfield and Brian Ulrich. This would not only make the story more fleshed out, but it would also get staff from North America involved in development, something Takeda felt was important for the future of Nintendo. The group bounced draft ideas back and forth, even meeting in Japan over several months to help write the story. Initially, Takeda wanted to play up the kid and professor plot with Mike and his uncle, similar to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But the writers eventually settled on a plot based around time travel. The sequel was officially called Zoda's Revenge, StarTropics 2. After returning to Seattle, Mike Jones and his uncle get to work deciphering an alien code they found from the tropics. After discovering the secret to the code, Mike is sent back in time and learns he must collect 7 mystic tetrads to recover the legacy of the Argonian alien race. Along the way, you'll meet several famous people throughout history, including Cleopatra, Leonardo da Vinci, and even some fictional characters like Sherlock Holmes. The writing was greatly improved over the first game. Characters have more interesting things to say, and time travel makes the environments much more varied. They also tried to work in more humor into the game, with some mixed results. However, the time travel gag is somewhat cliché, and the game is still fairly linear, with maybe even fewer secrets than the first game. Visually, Zoda's Revenge is an improvement over its predecessor. There's more action on screen, there's a much bigger variety of enemies, and everything seems a little more detailed. It's not as colorful as the first game, but that's due to getting away from the tropical environment. The core gameplay remains pretty much the same, but you're no longer confined to a grid. Zoda's Revenge introduces 8 directional movements, and even allows you to change directions while jumping. This really improves the overall combat experience, and gives you a lot more freedom. This also improves the boss battles after each dungeon. However, there are some negatives to your freedom. Jumping around is a little too fluid and can make platforming a bit more difficult than the first game, which basically guaranteed where you would land a jump. They also completely removed invincibility after getting hit. This is a huge problem in the game. Even the smallest enemies can threaten your life simply by running into you over and over again. But when you add everything up, Zoda's Revenge is a good sequel to StarTropics. It's not as good as the original, but the charm is still there, and there are even more Nintendo references. Those Tetrads you have to collect are clearly from Tetris, and while traveling through the desert, you come across a man riding a Koopa Troopa. But Zoda's Revenge didn't receive as much fanfare as the first game. One major reason was the release date. StarTropics 2 was the last game Nintendo made exclusively for the NES, released in March of 1994. It came out almost 4 years after the original, and by then, most people were playing the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. Another reason may have been the actual title of the game, Zoda's Revenge StarTropics 2. If you've never played the first game, you would have no idea who Zoda is. And even then, you only meet Zoda at the very end of StarTropics. I wonder why they didn't just call it StarTropics 2. After the game's release, Genyo Takeda and his team returned to focusing on hardware. He still works at Nintendo today, with the odd title of Technology Fellow. Essentially, he is the manager of all hardware-related products at the company.
And since Zoda's Revenge, we haven't seen another StarTropics game, let alone a reference or even a cameo, which is disappointing because I absolutely love this series. When Nintendo opened up a ballot for new Super Smash Bros. Characters, I submitted Mike Jones. He'd be perfect for Smash with a yo-yo and a baseball bat as his weapons. But it's doubtful we'll ever see a return to the series.
Well, you have that.
Although the series was short-lived, the StarTropics games are really good and definitely worthy of your time. If you want to play the original cartridges, you're in luck. They're both fairly common and usually go for under $10 each. But you can also get the games on the Wii Virtual Console. If you decide to pick up StarTropics on Virtual Console, it does have one notable change. The yo-yo has been renamed to the Island Star. Apparently the word yo-yo is trademarked in Canada, so Nintendo changed the name to avoid any legal issues. It also comes with a digital letter that you can soak in digital water. StarTropics, we hardly knew ye. Here's hoping that maybe someday we will see you again. That's all for this episode of Gaming Historian. Thanks for watching.
Just had to see if there's anything interesting there. Just move, man. What? Fucking trolling, dude. Are you trolling? It's over. Why are you not jumping forward, dude? What the fuck? Oh my god, dude. Somebody taking hits. Dude, it's a struggle to simply control this game. Like, I can't fucking just jump forward sometimes, or move in a direction. Jesus. Button, healed. I always forget. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty unnecessary, but it's just a bit of a extra chance, you know. I think it might be good. I didn't know the controls would be like this. I didn't know this game would be like this overall. I would have not played this on NES, I guess, if I knew about the controls. So I have a better controller on PC. I don't know. I just had to jump over him. Game Grumps actually finished this game? Oh, they at least played it. Did they finish this game? Why could I not jump forward, dude? What the fuck? I don't need that. Doesn't matter at all. It's a troll. There it is. Seriously? That got me? It hasn't got me in so long. What the fuck? Very cool when that's happening and I'm my character with no mobility and there's 3 fucking dudes charging at me. It just feels like RNG in the behavior, whether I get hit or not. Here with full health, which is very important for us. Dude, what? I don't remember where that shit was, I guess. My god. So painful. Oh, Pro Jared made a video? On this game? We'll have to watch Pro Jared. StarTropic, Nintendo's Dark Souls. The fuck? Someone's grandma beat the game. Shit, man. Someone's grandma beat this game. That really sucks. That she died. Forgot that people die. It's over for me.
Not bad, right? I tried getting into yo-yos once as a kid for two reasons. One, that one scene in the second Ninja Turtles movie where Michelangelo confuses a bunch of robbers by doing yo-yo tricks for them. And two, that one yo-yo toy that was aggressively marketed in the 90s. You know, the one that goes, "Hey man, it's a yo-yo ball!" Yeah, that's the one. But a passing interest in yo-yos was never the reason for or cause of the Nintendo game StarTropics. Now, I've never played this. I know a few things about it thanks to word of mouth or it being a favorite of so many people that I know. In fact, I never planned on playing this, but this is one of my most requested playthroughs I've ever done over on my gameplay channel. And I finally figured, you know what? Why not? It's basically baby's first RPG, right? Right? Right away, you'll notice some blatant inspirations for StarTropics. This name entry screen is taken straight out of the original Legend of Zelda. There's more Zelda inspirations beyond that, as your life is denoted by the exact same hearts, and you can find heart containers to increase your maximum health. I know the initial reaction to this is, of course some game company ripped off Zelda. It was one of the best games ever made. But the thing is, StarTropics was made by Nintendo. They're ripping off themselves. The whole concept behind StarTropics is fascinating. Even though it was made by Nintendo in Japan, it was designed to appeal to Americans. They figured, well, if Legend of Zelda could do so well in the West, could they make a game for America? That's why the main character's name is Mike Jones. He loves baseball, and all the city names end in cola because Americans love soda pop. Most interestingly, StarTropics was only ever released in the United States and Europe. It never came out in Japan. Chapter 1. One day in summer, you land at Sea Island where Dr. Jones has his laboratory. Yes, Dr. Jones, who is your uncle and is an archaeologist. Do you get it? Thus, you get to explore the first island, an overworld gameplay very reminiscent of Dragon's Quest, or Dragon Warrior, whatever. I think it's this gameplay that makes fans say that StarTropics is an RPG, but quite frankly, it's about as RPG as Zelda 1 is, which is to accurately say, not at all. These are adventure games, or if you're Nintendo Power, Hero Quest type of games. The best thing about Hero Quest games is being able to walk around town and talk to people. Welcome to Coral Cola. Mike, you're an ace pitcher, I hear. Show me how to throw a fastball sometime? And this pig says, oink, oink, and then he shows you his butthole. Eventually, you speak to the village leader. Which, you know what? I can't help but notice this guy's hairline. It's not just him either. A lot of guys on this island are starting to recede, or worse. Looks like they could all benefit from this video's sponsor, Keeps. Keeps is a hair loss prevention service delivered right to your front door. It is a known fact that 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. And the best way to prevent that is to keep the hair that you already have. Prevention is key, and the Keep subscription service gets you a plan tailored for your needs using clinically proven treatments at a much more affordable price than any pharmacy. Their doctors and specialists are available 24/7 and will answer any question you have. Most customers will notice results within 6 months of starting, which is why I got mine months ago. Go to keeps.com/projared to get 50% off your first order, or clicky the linky in the description. Once again, that's keeps.com/projared and get 50% off. The village head of Coral Cola informs you that your uncle has been abducted. Not missing or kidnapped, but abducted. Choice words there. And for some reason, he figures that the 15-year-old who is kind of good with yo-yos is the best hope of rescuing him? Sure, dude, why not? If a 10-year-old with a wooden sword can do it, so can I. Before being allowed to leave, you must also speak to the village's shaman, who intimidatingly extends a grabby hand at you the entire time. This is upsetting, and I hope I never have to see her again. All she says is to travel to all the islands, and we're off to the very first dungeon. This is the real game right here. It becomes more of a traditional action game as you go from room to room, clearing out enemies and finding out how to open the pathway forward. Every room is a square. There are enemies to slap in the face with a yo-yo, and occasionally you find a secret. It's the kind of gameplay that immediately works for me, having played so much Zelda in my life. Except StarTropics isn't exactly like that. All the movement during action sequences is tile-based, which means you don't move a little bit or nudge. When you step forward 1 tile. The same goes for all the enemies. This allows for setting up attacks and aligning yourself quite easily. You can tell exactly where enemies will end up thanks to the feeling of this grid-based movement. It feels a bit more intuitive than it looks, but if you're smart enough and pay attention, it's easy to clear rooms of enemies without taking damage. Or you could be me. What's much more difficult to convey is how weird the controls actually are. Anytime you move, there's a delay. This is meant to allow you to turn around in place so that you can aim your attacks without having to move onto another tile, which in theory makes a lot of sense. But my god, this is the single most infuriating thing about StarTropics. It makes it feel like there's a significant input lag to every movement you do. There will be times where you spin around in place because your brain has already registered the movement, but the game delays it. It's not just turning either. Even when you try to walk forward in the direction you're already facing, it delays the step forward. I can't stand it. It's too much. It's driving me bonkers. It goes against everything my mind has been trained to have when playing any game. Responsive controls. Imagine you tap the D-pad and a massive hand appears and says, okay, hold on, for the briefest of moments. Only it happens every time. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. This also causes times where you basically end up strafing while you're trying to move, because after you begin to move, you are committed to that step until it finishes. Attacking while moving halts you in place, causing a dissonance by further delaying the time you arrive at your desired tile and being able to move again. The only way to interrupt or reverse your movement is to go back the same way you came. And then there's no delay if you do it mid-walk. Again, I get it. It's meant to provide a window for precise aiming. But the input delay is too long. If the frame length was reduced down to like a fourth of what it is, it'd be absolutely fine. The problems with the controls don't stop there. You can also jump. Makes sense. You can also attack while jumping to get hits in while dodging. It's also used for puzzle solving, as there are numerous gaps to jump across. Sometimes you need to jump over and attack at the same time, and often there are these blocks that can sometimes hide buttons that can only be jumped on. That's all good, all fine and dandy. However, you can only jump forward when there is a block or a gap. You cannot jump forward anywhere. If you try to do it anywhere else, you only go straight up. And much like the walking, this causes cognitive dissonance. I know I'm able to jump forward because I've done it so many times. But in the middle of combat, when my instinct has already been established to be able to jump when I need it, I find myself unable to move. This results in death, 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 oops, death. But you do get used to it. It takes a while for it to finally click, mostly because it goes against every other contemporary example you could possibly think of. But you do get used to it. For as much as I'm complaining here, it isn't as bad after you adjust. When you play and you find yourself cursing at the controls, just know you're not alone. Even after becoming accustomed to the weird controls, I still found myself dying repeatedly. Worst part is, every time you lose all your lives and have to continue, you're treated with the shaman lady again, waving that hand at you in shame, taunting you, trying to get a little touch in there. The first level starts out easy. Your only enemies are slugs and slow-moving rats. You get plenty of time to learn the controls, take out some enemies. Every now and then, they drop hearts, which refills your life by 1. And these stars drop. When you collect 5 stars, it refills your life by 1. So why does it have both stars to slowly restore health and hearts to restore health? I don't know! They both drop so infrequently that it's almost not worth the effort to go for the stars. Anyway, you go from room to room, taking out enemies, finding the switch to open the door, and move on. Throughout, you can also find treasure chests for some extra limited weaponry, and tons of secrets. That's something StarTropics does very, very well. There are so many secret paths everywhere. Sometimes they're even conveyed to the player by hinting at it with enemies, or seeing a path from an adjacent room, or just putting a little path discoloration there. Sometimes you find them from just exploring every single tile in every single room. Not just secrets and stages, there's also hidden spots in the overworld, often leading you to another heart container. It's good, and a good way to reward the player for exploring or just paying attention. Especially when you find an extra weapon. A lot of times, they are required for finishing the level or killing the boss easier. Sometimes they're just extra things. However, I will say this is one of those games where you should probably read the manual and know what each thing does, because they are super limited and wasting even one can be punishing. Like baseball bat, I get. Torch, firecracker thing, sure. This magic wand? Was that a good? Anyway, I bring these up because I found some torches in the first level, and they're super helpful versus the first boss, the giant snake. You can only hit it while the mouth is open, making getting close with a yo-yo dangerous. It's a good thing I got these torches, even though I definitely wasted some earlier. There we go, take that. I got this, easy pattern. Wait, uh-oh, oh no, am I gonna run out? Ha-ha! We're good! Rotten hell, snake skeleton bones! Wee, kids game! Wow, you've done it! I sure did. Also, the entire time you're playing, you accumulate points, and as far as I can tell, they are for nothing, they mean nothing, and the only way to get more points is to not kill enemies. Much like the controls, the exact opposite of everything we've ever been taught. Now we get the submarine and get to talk to Rob the robot. Nope, that's not a joke, and off we go. Oh no, this dolphin needs our help. Please help me find my son. Yeah, you got it, Echo. So we find a bottle on the beach which has a special coordinates code. We tell that to Rob, and we're on our way to rescue the dolphin kid, which means another dungeon. This one brings the difficulty to something reasonable. A decent challenge without being a pushover. I still died though. Going around, I find some more items, including this snowman. In addition to the items you pick up, you can also find other items that can only be accessed by pausing the game, pressing the D-pad, and then using them. What's the main difference between these items and these items? Well, for these ones, you need to pause the game and press the D-pad to use them. Other than that, I have no idea. I guess they're magic? The snowman item ends up being essential because the boss of the dungeon is a pissed off octopus. It's probably so mad because I murdered his Octorok kids a few rooms earlier. And he's pretty tough to fight, but the snowman freezes the water and him in place for a relentless yo-yo beatdown. And with the kid rescued, the reunited dolphin family leads me away to the next island. And by that I mean getting caught in a storm and waking up with a mouthful of sand on the beach. Well, nothing to do from here but move on to the next dungeon. This introduces mini dungeons where you just have to get to the end. There's no boss in these, so they're pretty short and break up the pace a bit. At least I could find some more items in here, like these bolas. Naturally, the RPG player in me is thinking, heck, better save these for when I really need them, which is usually after the credits. But with StarTropics, you better use them right away, because the moment you step out of the dungeon, they're all gone. I've never felt so punished for being frugal. The next village, which is called Miracola, and I'm already sick of this cola suffix for everything, we learn that the village elder's daughter is sick. If we save her by learning a healing spell from a mountain hermit, he'll fix our wrecked submarine, which means, you guessed it, on to the next dungeon.
You know, I actually don't mind the overworld or all the talking to NPC bits. It adds a grander sense to the adventure that otherwise wouldn't be there if you were just going level to level. It helps paint a picture of being a part of something bigger, and you get to see the positive effects of your actions. I think that's great, especially for the imaginations of kids.
And it's here into the third dungeon that I realized the gloves are off. The difficulty spike here is ridiculous. Way more enemies, having to traverse the dark and not fall, freaking lava volcanoes and lava goop monsters, and oh god, what the hell is that? Undead ostriches? Yeah, I started dying here a lot. And don't forget, at every game over, she's back! Even the final boss isn't fair. It's more a puzzle than a fight, which is cool, but it involves jumping on every single block to reveal a button that you have to go press. All while playing hopscotch, and it spits fireballs at you. Okay, there's one, no problem. So then the other's over here? Wait, where is it? Ah! I hit every other spot. Where can... Oh, you cannot be serious. You have to precariously hop around directly in front of the fire monster to find the activation step, then hop all the way back around just to kill it? Then why did you get all these stupid weapons? Whatever, I got them. Listen, there's even happy triumphant music to let me know I did a good job. See, look. Wow, you've done it. Of course, we're not done yet. The nearby city is Shikola, and it's controlled entirely by women, and they only let girls in. But circle around back, and you find, I guess, the soul outcasted grandma fortune teller who needs her crystal ball back from the graveyard. So you know what that means? Yup, more dungeons. This one is a bit sneaky because it actually has like 3 different exits, and every time you take one, whoop, you're back in the graveyard. Try it again, different exit, same result. You can keep doing this in a forever loop until you realize, like me, that this one slug here is actually hiding a secret path. Alright, I'm gonna speed things along here. I got to the end, killed a spooky ghost, got the crystal ball, bring it back to the fortune teller, and she turns you into a girl. What? Oh no, what a wacky reversal of roles. Guys can't be girls, that's too silly. Oh, 90s, I love how nothing about you will ever age poorly. Speaking of, after Mrs. Doubtfiring my way into the city, the leader here is impressed of all the ghost killing and powers up the yo-yo. Now when my hearts are high enough, it has a longer reach and does more damage. Neat. She also informed me how to get up to the path to the mountain. You have to stand here and jump 10 times and say abracadabra. Look, I didn't say that. And
what? How is this acceptable? Like, seriously.
Instead, I said the names of way better Pokemon. Caterpie, Snom, Scyther, yay, it worked! But of course, nothing is easy, which means another dungeon to get to the Mountain Hermit. To further up the difficulty, now there are blocks that intermittently sink, and ones that sink the moment you land on them, just to make the platforming even more obnoxious. So sometimes you see stuff like, oh god, oh man, I want those hearts. Maybe I can just, look at this. There's even straight up invisible blocks to jump on. This is getting ridiculous. And this dungeon is long. At least it ends with riding a water geyser up to the top of the mountain. Whee! Okay, that's kind of fun. The hermit on the mountain gives a healing spell on a scroll. You give it to the village elder, who then has a stroke, and then his daughter wakes up. Submarine fixed. Hooray! Now we can finally move on to the next. Oh god! Now we're trapped inside a whale. This entire chapter takes place inside the whale, but for once, there's no dungeon. It's only exploring with limited sight range and using the sub's dive ability to find hidden passages. Ultimately, it's really boring, but I'm thankful there was some full-on exploring to break up the constant dungeons. I actually liked it. You find a lighter, burn this guy's only means of survival at sea, and the whale sneezes you out. He's your uncle's assistant and informs you that you need to dip your uncle's letter in water?
So this is probably the most famous thing of StarTropics. In every single brand new copy, there was an actual printed letter from your uncle, Dr. Jones. What the game is telling you is to take that letter and to literally dip it into water. This then reveals a hidden code to enter in on the submarine. Again, what a cool way to make a kid in the 90s feel like they're part of a bigger adventure. Now, if you rented the game or bought it used, or you're borrowing it, or say you're playing it on the Nintendo Switch's online NES library, get fucked.
By the way, in case you need it, the code is 747. Next is another island with the only path blocked by a huge ship. Even though we are a submarine and could feasibly go under it, we gotta find some other way to get around it. To do this, we need to go to the hidden tower of the ship's captain, who loves oversized keyboards. Playing a specific song will open the way, but you can only learn the song from the captain's parrot, who is in the jungle all the way back at town. Oh, but he won't give it to you for free. You have to give the parrot a worm. Then you learn the song, go back to the tower, Tom Hanks it, and now you can go into the next dungeon for the ship. The game just keeps getting harder from here. Now there's literal bowling ball death traps, collapsing floors along with free health meant to trick you into death, spear traps from out of nowhere, these metal spheres that you have to hit yourself to make them bounce around, and then you have to carefully dodge a trap of your own doing. And wait, Oh, come on, now that's just not fair. Oh, thank God, at least I found a room with an extra life in it. Well, it made me lose a life? Why? I'm thankful here there is no boss. Die, boat. Following your uncle's signal, you eventually come to a crater and continue the search for him in an underwater dungeon. What's actually pretty cool about this dungeon is that early on, you get a power-up that turns Mike orange, and now allows him to jump farther. It's a minor difference, but this switch up in what you know is a good way to variate the gameplay and allow for some new puzzle solving. And by puzzle solving, I mean jumping on blocks. Oh, hey there, little guy. What do you do? Oh, nothing? Cool. Easy then. Oh, no. Oh, no. Did I kill your son back there? Whoops. Here, you can join him. Boom. Easy dungeon. We even got the victory music again, and we can already move on to the next chapter. What? There's more dungeon? But you played the happy music. I gotta do more? Well, at least at this point, there's not a whole lot of more ways the game can throw bullshit at me. Oh, come on! There's probably a secret button somewhere in here, but I'm gonna be real. I choose not to look for it. Kill a stupid Maui head boss with baseballs to the mouth, and continue exploring the underground cavern, pass a weird meteorite, go through yet another dungeon, and eventually come across your uncle, Dr. Steve Jones. He goes on to explain that the meteorite actually had 3 magic cubes in it, and that it was being chased by an alien spaceship to here on Earth, and now the aliens have the magic cubes. So go take your yo-yo and get them back, kid. Well, at least we're at the final chapter. The alien ship is a full-on labyrinth, as there's no longer clear rooms to make your way through and teleporters that bring you to somewhere. There's also tons of alien guards with laser guns and jet bikes that come out of nowhere. Just finding your way forward is a huge pain. And in case you're thinking, well, how hard could this be at this point? Look at how much health you have. I like to calmly point out that most things deal a ludicrous amount of damage to you in this entire dungeon. These hearts are a false sense of security. But at least you can also find your own laser gun to fight back with. It helps you shoot the next set of robot mini-bosses. Then you find the first magic cube, which further powers up the yo-yo to have maximum range and damage. This all leads up to another robot boss, which again is a puzzle boss. Instead of killing it, you need to drop the platform and hit it enough to back it into the pit. It's another good boss, and I did it with 1 heart left. Go through a labyrinth of stupid, find another magic cube, and now you have maximum life. But the spaceship is taking off, and the game's true villain reveals himself. Zoda, an imposing Sauron-like figure who is so imposing and evil that the only way to prevent his evil aura is to jam bananas into your ears. Immediate boss fight. Grab the gun, don't get diddled. Also, I want to point out that getting the second magic cube gave me full health, but as soon as the next chapter started with the Zoda fight, it automatically reset me back down to 3. Thanks, game. After enough bullets, Zoda explodes, losing his disguise and exposing his true form, which is so embarrassing he runs off into the darkness. And then, of course, one more dungeon. At least it's pretty quick, and it ends by destroying this warp core thing, which also explodes the entire ship. Now all that's left is the final showdown with Zoda, which I actually rather like this final battle, because even though Zoda is this huge, imposing monster, he does cute little hops like you. See, Zoda? We're not so different, you and I. Well, I guess a little different because you're dead. With that, the final magic cube is obtained, an escape pod drops back to Earth, Mike swims for a bit, gets tired, drowns, and dies. Seriously, I didn't edit that in, that's what happens. But it's okay, because Dolphin Friend has saved us. We're back at the first island, where everyone is going to celebrate with a big feast. Wait, a big feast? Where is... No! Butthole Pig! No! Oh, also, those 3 cubes, they transform and release 7 alien children, the last of their species. Only this one's pissed about it, this one's a vampire, and this one's an idiot. Sorry about your race. I hope you're not siblings because repopulating might get weird. Credits roll, along with some honestly nice pixel art memories of the journey. Ah, yes. Remember when this happened? And then we did this? Haha, yay! Bananas. The end.
It's surprising to me how many people love this game. Like, love it. Love it. They'll scream up and down about how it's such a good game. And it is. Mostly.
It has a lot of good things going for it. Good graphics, good music, good sense of adventure. The dungeons continually evolve themselves and offer new tweaks to what's expected to keep things fresh. There are tons of different items and power-ups, loads of secrets to find, and consistent progression to make it an enjoyable playthrough. However, obviously, the controls are not great. It's the kind of controls that will either click with you or they won't. In my case, it didn't, and I muscled my way through it anyway. The difficulty spikes are also completely ridiculous, and there are way too many lol gotcha moments, where the game punishes the player immediately without any kind of forewarning. As frustrating as it was at times, the dungeons are cool and the boss fights are kinda awesome. It may be seen as derivative of Zelda, but I think StarTropics is strong enough to stand on its own.
I wouldn't go far to say that it's an all-time NES classic. There is a reason that StarTropics has 0 representation in Smash Brothers. It is an oddity on the NES that is worth checking out, especially since it already stands in the colossal shadows of more famous games. And if you use your imagination just right, you can practically taste the ultimate reward: juicy roast pig butthole.
This feels copy and paste, this room. Is there even anything here? What? What? No, I can't stand this game, I think. That was so painful, man. Bro. Jeez, man. Suppose we'll have to call it quits there for now. Didn't know what I was getting myself into with this game. Oh, let me tell ya. Sure didn't.